Fine, I'm recording this and you'll get the recorded video as well. For yesterday's class, I could not send you the recorded video. I actually uploaded the wrong one and today correct it and I'll send it across to you. Fine, I'm going to create a new project today. A new Java project. Okay, and I'll call it day 2. Today I'll start off with the concepts of object-oriented programming. Fine, and I'll tell you how these concepts are used in Selenium. Alright, so just hold on. Right, so this is the project. Fine, in this project, right, let me first tell you the concepts of object-oriented programming. Fine, meanwhile, parallelly, I'll also download the latest jar files of Selenium. I'm sitting on a different machine today. I don't have the latest jar files. Alright, now for that you need to go to Selenium hq.org. Oh, sorry, hold on. In this browser, I have configured the proxy. Okay. So yesterday I told you, right, how to download jar files for Selenium. You need to go to the website seleniumhq.org, click on the download link, and then you need to download the jar files from this location. Right. I'll download it and now I'll start with the concepts of object-oriented programming. Now, what do you mean by an object? What do you mean by an object-oriented programming? Right. It is very important to learn this in order to continue with Selenium. Right. Well, I'll just make a new class. Fine. And I'll name it as, say, hotel. Right. So this is hotel.java class. Fine. And just a minute, I'll increase the font size. Just hold on. Okay, this is public class hotel, right? So over here you can declare string name, right? The name of the hotel. This means the name of the hotel. Okay, or probably you can also declare another string, say string capacity, which denotes the capacity of a hotel. Fine. Okay. Now suppose if I create a new class. Okay, I'll just call it a sample.java. Fine, with the main function. Now main function is a function in which the control comes up for the first time when you execute your program. Fine, hotel.java has got no main function. It's just got two properties, name and capacity. You cannot run hotel.java because it's got no main function, but you can run this sample class because it's got the main function. Alright, in this main function I'll do something which is known as create object for hotel. Okay, so what do you mean by creating the object of the hotel class? You can write something like this, new hotel. This will create the object of the hotel class in the memory. Right, what do you mean by creating an object? What actually happens in the memory is that an object like this is created. Fine, inside it name and capacity are two parameters present. Fine, similarly I can create as many objects as I want. Right, if I write this 2 times, okay, and what happens is that you get the object reference like this. Sorry, not like this, sorry. If I create 2 times, fine, what happens is that you get 2 objects created in the memory. Fine, one is this and one is this. Both of them have name and capacity as the parameters. But we need to access these objects as well. To access these objects, we use object references. This arrow is an object reference. To access and change the state of these objects, we need to have object references. So we create the object references like this. Hotel h1 equals to this and hotel h2 equals to this. So what happens in the memory is that h1 and h2, this is h1 and this is h2, they become object references to these 2 objects. Fine, right? So h1 and h2 become object references to these 2 objects in the memory. They point towards the object and they can alter the state of the object. Okay, without h1 and h2, you cannot alter the state. If I just write new hotel, then this is another object which hangs in the memory with no reference. Right, so you cannot change the third object, but you can change these 2 with h1 and h2. h1 and h2 are not objects. Right, people generally refer them as objects, but these are references to the object. You can write over here h1 say dot. You will get the option name is equal to say hotel A. Right, h1 dot capacity equals to 100. Right. Similarly, h2 can change the other one. h2 dot name sorry is hotel B. Right. Then h2 dot capacity is 200. Right. So what happens in the memory? Fine. In the memory, you have got the name and capacity. This is name A. This is name B. Right. This is having capacity 100. This is having capacity 200. Okay, so these 2 objects, they can alter the state of the these 2 references can alter the state of the objects. Right. Please note, there is only one class. Yeah, Raghavendra, you can ask any question. There is only one class hotel over here. Okay, and it's only got 2 parameters. But by creating multiple objects of this hotel class, right, you can initiate multiple objects differently. Okay, yeah, you guys can feel free to ask questions. Move your mouse to the top of the screen. You will see participants tab. You can click on that, unmute yourself and ask questions, or you can click on the chat tab and ask me questions through chat. This is Skype. You can also ping me on Skype. Okay, now what is static keyword? That is being asked. I'll answer that in some time. Right, please accept it as it is for some time. You'll come to know. I'll cover it in the concepts of object oriented programming. You'll come to know. Right. So when I create the object to the hotel class like this, fine, and I can give 2 different initializations to the object, to these two different objects. Fine, I hope you got my point. Right, so this way in the memory I end up making 2 different objects with different values but for the same class. Class is same, hotel class. Alright, now there are some things which are common for all the objects. Right, for example, I'll write over here string field. Okay, so h1 is a hotel, the field of h1 is hospitality. Okay, H2 is a hotel. Field of H2 is again hospitality. Now, every hotel will have the field as hospitality, right? So it doesn't make sense to create hospitality inside every object, right? So what we do is that fields which are common for all the objects of the class, right? We make it static. Okay, when we make it static, okay, what happens is that it moves away from the object. It no longer remains the part of the object. Okay, static fields, they reside outside the objects somewhere at a common memory location, right? So field will reside over here, right? And all the objects, okay, all the objects can access it. I hope you got my point, right? I hope you got my point. Is there anybody having any questions? Anybody having any questions? No questions? Right. So hold on. Right. So I hope you have got no questions till now. Right. What did I cover yesterday? I covered basics. Today I'll be emailing you the recorded video of the class as well. Right. So this is out here I created objects of hotel H1 and H2. Right. In the hotel class, I made this string field as static. Okay. Because of that, it moved out of the objects. Right. Now static stuff can directly be accessed with the name of the class, that is hotel dot field. If I keep it as hospitality, then for all the objects the field becomes hospitality. If you have any static member of the class, you can access it directly from the class name. Okay, but you cannot access this thing. You cannot write hotel dot h1 equals to a. You cannot write like this. Non-static fields cannot be accessed. Okay, so technically this is static variable, okay, and this is non-static variable. To access the non-static variable, you have to create the object. It is mandatory. Okay, right? I'm sorry. Yeah, right. So non-static variables can be accessed like this. But for static variable, you can access it directly with the name of the class without creating the object. Because static variables are not the part of the objects, they are part of the class. Fine. Similarly, we can have functions. For example, I have a function like public void. I couldn't get your question. Can I change value? What do you mean by that, Money? Right. Suppose I have a function public void serve food. So this is a non-static function. So this will be the part of the object. Okay. And if I have a function like public void, say any function xyz, which I made static. Okay, this is known as technically static function. Okay, yes, you can change the value of static things. Okay, it's not that you cannot change. If I have assigned it once, I can assigned it, I can change it the next time as well. Okay, right? So this function over here, serve food, is actually non-static. If inside it I write system.out.println serving food and the name, right? And if I call it from here, say if I write h1 dot serve food and h2 dot, because this is static function, it has to be accessed with the object reference. Okay, if I run this program, see it's printing serving food A and serving food B. When h1 calls the serve food function, it prints the name of the object represented by h1. When h2 calls it, it represents the name of the object represented by h2. xyz is a static function. It's not belonging to the object, right? You can call it directly. You can write over here hotel.xyz. I hope you are able to understand. It's very simple. There are two types of fields in a class. One are static fields and one are non-static fields. Two types of functions, non-static functions and static functions. Non-static functions can be accessed with the help of objects, and static things can be only accessed with the help of the class. Not only, but static fields should be accessed with the name of the class, like this, class name dot the field name. Okay, right? Anyone with any questions, feel free to ask. Now, how do we use this in Selenium? Right, in Selenium, everything is inbuilt. Okay, for example, if you look at the Java docs over here, fine. So these are all the classes. Okay, you create the objects of these classes to work with them. For example, this is the class Firefox driver. Okay, you work with this class to actually work on Firefox, as the name suggests, right? It is written over here as well, an implementation of the interface that drives Firefox. Okay, so if I just create a new class, and type over here new Firefox driver, fine, right? I'll have to include the Selenium jar files in the project, right, which I talked about yesterday. So these are the jar files. Hold on, cut them. Hold on. Just a minute. Yeah, I'll extract them. Right. So these are the jar files for Selenium. I'll include the jar files in the project. Fine. So I wrote over here new Firefox driver. Okay. And under reference libraries, you will see the jar files. Okay. So my project is Selenium enabled. I move my mouse over Firefox driver. I get the option import this driver. I import it. Fine. And now, right now over here, hold on, guys. Right over here, just by creating the object of Firefox driver class, and if I run this program, hold on, I showed you yesterday as well, right? A new Firefox browser gets opened if you just create the object of Firefox driver class. Fine. Now you can give it a reference. You can write Firefox driver, say f1 equals to this, Firefox driver f2 equals to another object. So what will happen is that I'm creating the object of Firefox driver 2 times, right? If I run this, it will launch 2 Firefox browsers. You see that? 2 Mozilla Firefox browsers are opened. Okay, right. Now to manage them, okay, you can write f1 dot. You will get the list of all the functions and properties inside Firefox driver which you can access. For example, there is a function known as get. Okay, you write over here f1 dot get http any website, right? Say bbc.com. So this will open the browser and navigate you to bbc.com. Only f1, right? Say after navigating to bbc.com, you write f1 dot get title. Get title is another function inside Firefox driver class. You can refer the documentation over here. You will get the details, right? So you get the title of the page. You can take the title of the page and print it. So in Selenium, everything is inbuilt. There is no rocket science. You just need to know the classes and the functions in the classes, right? If I run this, it will open 2 browsers and it will take the first browser f1 to, you see that it's taking the first browser to bbc.com, right? Okay, and hold on, it prints BBC homepage. Okay, right? I hope you got my point. Right, I hope you got my point. Right. Similarly, I could have taken f2, I could have taken f2 to some other website. Okay, now hold on. This is for Firefox driver. Now for every browser there is a driver. For example, in the documentation you will find another driver known as Chrome driver. Okay, as the name suggests, it is implementation which controls the Chrome browser. Okay, Chrome driver is a driver which is not developed by Selenium HQ. It is actually a third-party driver. Fine. You will come to know about this in some time. What I mean to say, if I write over here, Chrome driver cd equals to new Chrome driver. Okay, and I import the Chrome driver class over here. Right. If I run the program, you will see you will get an error. Everybody will get an error. The error would say that the path to the driver executable must be set by the some property. Okay, if you don't get the error like this, if you don't understand the error, look, there's no reason to be confused. Okay, at times people get this error and then they get confused. What do I do now? In this case, copy the first line of the error, right, and search it on Google. Even good developers, they also do the same thing. Okay, you need to be good at searching in Google to learn this tool, right? Search on Google this error and you will see a lot of solutions. Okay, that what is the error? Look, I'll tell you the solution. The thing is, in case of Chrome, okay, you need to actually download an exe file, third-party browsers not developed by Selenium HQ. Chrome implementation is not developed by Selenium HQ. So you need to download an exe file which will run Chrome with the help of Selenium. Right, I'll tell you how to do it. You click on this link, right? Go to download section, click on this link and download for the latest version 2.11. Right. So over here you have got Windows 32-bit zip. You can download it. It doesn't matter if you have 64-bit Windows, still you can download the zip file. 32-bit will work in 64-bit. Fine. So I am downloading it. This is an exe file which will help you to run Chrome on your machine. I'll keep it here. Fine. This is chromedriver.exe. Don't double click on it. It will be of no use. If you double click on it, it will not do anything. Right. All you need to do is that you need to copy the path where this exe is lying. Fine. Go to your Eclipse and type the command system dot. Now system is a class. Okay. An inbuilt class. Inside its set property is a static function. See, set property is a static function. So when you write system dot set property, okay, you can access the static function directly inside the system class without actually creating the object. For example, when I create the object of Firefox driver over here, I can access all the stuff. But if I write Firefox driver or class dot, you will get all the static things which we are supposed to get in the class, right? Right. Whatever static is declared in the class by the developers of Firefox driver, you can access all those variables. We'll study what these are, but again, I tell you, static can only be accessed by static can be accessed directly by writing the class name dot the variable name, static variable. Okay. Now, if you write Chrome driver cd equals to new Chrome driver, okay, and you set the system property like this, that is WebDriver dot Chrome dot driver. Okay, if you look at this error, it also says that the path to the driver executable is the exe file which you downloaded, okay, should be set by the WebDriver.Chrome.Driver system property. Okay, so that's what I'm doing over here. I'm writing system.set property this WebDriver.Chrome.Driver. Please note that people do a mistake. They keep W capital over here. Java is a case sensitive language. You have to make sure everything is in the lower case. Okay, and this is the property key, and property value is the path where your exe file is lying. F drive. In Java you need to give / escape sequence Chrome driver.exe. So give the path of exe file. Right. Now if you run the program, you will see Chrome launching. You see that Chrome has launched. Okay, right. Now you can fire the command, say Chrome driver dot get to the URL http yahoo.com. Now one more thing, guys, when you write get, you write the name of the website. In the name of the website, please mention the protocol. If you don't mention the protocol, then Selenium will not work. Okay, mentioning the protocol in out here, it's very important. Okay, right. So when you run this, it opens Chrome. right? And it takes you to Yahoo website. Fine. Okay. Right. So this is how you work with Chrome. Right. I'll comment these lines, and now I'll talk about I. For I, there is an internal class known as Internet Explorer Driver. So I'll call it I equals to new Internet Explorer Driver. Okay. Right. If I run this code, again I will get an error. The path to driver executable must be set by WebDriver.I.driver. Look, for I also, you have to download an exe file. Hold on. I'll go to seleniumhq.org, go to the download link, and you see that Selenium Server, formerly known as Selenium RC, and yeah, Internet Explorer Driver Server. You need to download it based on the version of I you have, 32-bit I or 64-bit I. You can download it. Actually, I'm on XP right now. I don't have the latest version of I as well. So now my other PC didn't work today, so I came up on this one. So I'll take iDriver server and extract it. Fine. So now what you need to do is that you need to write the same thing what you did for Chrome, that is system.setProperty, right? WebDriver.I.driver. This is very important. You need to write this correct spelling, okay, and give the correct path over here as well. iDriver server.exe. Fine, right? And if I run this on block, okay, so I will open up. That is not a problem. Fine, but you guys would be having Windows 8 or Windows 7 machines on that, right? You need to, yeah, I'll just answer your question. Hold on. You need to make sure of few things. Firstly, the zoom level in I should be 100%. Otherwise, it will give you an error, right? If you open up I, then over here in this PC, yeah, zoom over here is 100%. So make sure that zoom level is 100%, right? Fine. Secondly, okay. Secondly, what you need to do is you need to make sure about this thing. Hold on. Just hold on. Security levels I. I'll just tell you with the help of an example. Yeah. When you go to your internet options, tools options in I, under security, you will have an image like this. Oh, sorry. Yeah, you'll have an image like this. In this image, there will be 4 tabs: internet, local internet, trusted sites, restricted sites. Okay, make sure that you see this level over here, this level bar, this one. Okay, this level bar should be at the same location for all the 4 options. Right, I don't have i8 or i9 right now. I don't have a Windows 7 machine right now. Okay, so I cannot tell, but make sure that the security levels for all the zones should be same. Okay, right, so in your PC, make sure security levels are same for all the zones. Fine. Now there's a question being asked. Okay. There's a question being asked that suppose this is the non-static function. Inside it, I have a string. Say string class equals to Selenium. How do I access this variable? Okay. Okay. String class name you can write. String class name equals to Selenium. How do I access this variable in the other class sample which I had made? You cannot access it. This variable is known as a local variable. The lifespan of this variable is only inside this function. It cannot be accessed outside this function. Alright, fine. Right, Avinash, you cannot access it outside it. Okay, you might return it as the function can return it, right? Should it be medium? Okay, fine. The question being asked is the security level, should it be medium, low? Anything, you can keep anything, but we make sure it's at the same level for all those 4 zones. Okay, right. So this is how you work with all the 3 browsers. Fine. Apart from that, if you look at the documentation, fine, you will find a Safari driver as well. Right. And it's not so stable. It's a Safari browser, but I've used it. There are defects in this. It is not stable. Simple things that don't work in this driver. Right. Apart from this, there were other drivers which were earlier available, like Android driver. Then there used to be a driver known as iOS driver as well. Hold on. Okay, these 2 drivers are now removed from Selenium. They are no longer part of it, right? Because new tools such as Selendroid or Appium they have come up, right? So these have been removed, and those tools actually test your mobile-based applications or the websites on browsers as well. So these 2 are removed. They are no longer part of Selenium. Earlier they were there from the version of Selenium 2.42. They have been removed. Okay, right. And there is another driver known as HTML unit driver. Okay, hold on, I'll create the object of this. Fine, and I'll write HTML unit driver dot get to the URL http say anyone bbc.com again, right? And if I run this, hold on, I'll comment this part to open I first, right? I'll close this, right? If I run this now, you will not see any browser opening up. Okay, nothing will happen. This driver does the testing in a silent mode. Behind the scenes, it sends the request to the website, it gets the response and all everything, and it is very fast. Since it's not dependent on any browser, it does behind the scenes without any browser being opened. Okay, so this is what HTML unit driver does. I hope you are getting my point. Fine. So these are the various drivers. Now, one more thing, if you look at your task manager, fine, you will see iDriver.server running, ChromeDriver.exe. These exes they keep on running in your system. These exes are actually executed when you open your IE or Chrome. For example, I have closed them. Right. If I open up my say Chrome again, right, if I run this, if I open up Chrome again and again go to the task manager, you will see that Chrome driver.exe would be running. Even after I close Chrome, it still keeps on running, right? And if you close this Chrome driver, then you have to close it like this. So it's always better you use the command driver.quit. That is, say Chrome driver.quit. This will practically close exe as well, right? Because what happens is that unnecessarily it will consume your system resources even after you have closed the browser. So whenever you write driver.quit, it will launch Chrome, it will close it immediately, and it will close the Chrome driver exe as well, right? Because when you are making code, you run this for 50 times, 60 times while developing the code. Every time you don't want the exe to come up, right? Now there's a question being asked, where is HTML unit driver used? Look, as I told you, it is faster. If you have to execute your script faster, you can use it. Secondly, suppose you are executing your scripts on Unix shell where there is practically no, you can say, no interface. Okay, it's a shell, something like a command prompt where there is no browser. So you can use HTML unit driver over there as well. Okay, right. Fine. So anybody with any questions? Anyone with any questions? I've stopped.